What's good, y'all? It's your boy BioSpider 3.0, keeping the action going with the Toybiz Flame On Human Torch from the Fantastic Four movie from 2005. Alright, so we're getting into the full review of this guy. If you didn't see my first look video, be sure to check that out so you could see what he looks like in the packaging. But real quick, I will show you the packaging, without him in it. So I'm gonna move him aside for just a second. And here is the packaging that he came in. And again, very, very nice movie style packaging. Pretty much the same as what we saw with Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman. But yeah, very, very nice packaging. Got all the characters up top, the name, giant clamshell that he came in, all this stuff on the back that shows you the figures in the wave and his bio. I read that in the first look, so be sure to check that out if you want to hear that read. But yeah, it just gives you some basic instructions on how to use his gimmick, which is like a light up feature. It comes with like a light up and sound feature. Unfortunately, while playing with this guy, I wasn't able to get that gimmick to work because it takes batteries, and I wasn't able to get the lid unscrewed to put the batteries in because it has like a really, really small nail that requires like a Phillips screwdriver. And the nail, I guess, this being such an old figure, I guess the nail had gotten kind of like stripped, or it was just like stuck in there, and I could not get it out for the life of me. Me and my dad, both tried to get it out, even like with a drill and everything, and it just would not come out. So yeah, maybe if hopefully later on I can find a way to get that lid off, and then maybe I'll show off the that light up feature in a future video. But as for right now, I wasn't able to get it off, so unfortunately we won't see the light up feature that he has. But he's still a really great figure even without the gimmick. So I'm going to show you all the articulation and all that stuff that we normally look at. So yeah, enough about the packaging. We'll move this out the way and bring in Mr. Human Torch. All right, so here he is. Johnny Storm, played by Chris Evans in the 2005 Fantastic Four movie. I thought he was a solid Human Torch. That was the first, I think, role. Yeah, I think that was the first thing I ever saw him in. And I always felt like he was a perfect Human Torch, very hot-headed, very kind of cocky, ladies' man and everything. I feel like he fit the character, the way he was written in the comics. I felt like he really brought that to the live action version of him. So yeah, I really enjoyed, his take on Johnny Storm. But yeah, here we have the figure, man, and it looks awesome. Aesthetically, I really do like how this one looks. At first, I was kind of iffy about it, like when I watched other reviews on it, as far as like the aesthetics. Like I thought he looked cool, but I think having him in person now and like outside of the box, I think I like him even more than I thought I was going to. And he actually has so much articulation that, for some reason I was kind of assuming that he wouldn't have that much articulation. But he actually does. The box said he had, I think, 39 points of articulation. And yeah, he has like a lot. And he's made almost entirely of translucent plastic, as you can see here, which I think gives him a really nice look. I feel like translucent plastic actually is the way to go most of the time for a Human Torch figure. Not just the Invisible Woman. I think that the Human Torch can definitely benefit from having translucent plastic as well. So I like that Toybiz used that in their approach with the figure. And yeah, I think, it really does help the aesthetic of like, the fire look, the flaming look of, Human Torch. So very, very nice figure, man. Let's get into articulation and then we'll look at him up close. So for play and display, before I forget, I want to give a huge shout out to Space Cadets Collection on eBay. They're the same sellers who sold me the Mr. Fantastic figure. I'm not sure if they sold me the Invisible Woman figure. I want to say that was a different seller. I'll have to check again, but they definitely sent the Mr. Fantastic to me. So, as well as the Thing figure that we'll see reviewed very soon after this, the movie Thing. So big shout outs to them. What's crazy is that I thought these figures weren't coming. I actually ordered them like a week ago, and then I got an email saying that the orders had been canceled, and they like partially refunded me for both. And I was like, oh man, I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna have to find another seller. And then I got a notification on my phone yesterday when I was on my way to work that they both, I guess, had showed up at my house. And I was like, what the heck? And so, yeah, because the last I heard, the orders had been canceled. So I wasn't expecting these guys to come, but I guess they actually did come. So that is great. So here we are. We have this guy now and the thing that we will see soon. But yeah, I'm glad that they did end up coming through. So shout outs to Space Cadets Collection once again. And yeah, let's get into the articulation. So starting with the head sculpt, he is able to look up a decent amount, not super high, but it's all right. That's because the sculpt of his hair in the back, it's a hard sculpt. It does kind of run into his neck as you push the head up. So he's able to look up about that much, which I think, that's all right. Could be better, obviously, if we didn't have this getting in the way, but as is, I think it is still pretty nice range. And then looking down, he can look down about that far, which is pretty nice. I think that looks pretty good. And let's see, looking side to side, yep, good swivel side to side. In fact, I think it can go 360, yep, full 360. No real tilting or anything, that's to be expected with an older figure. We've got ball hinge shoulders. Now his shoulders were a little tricky or a little finicky. So on his left side, I could pretty much only really get it up to about kind of a 90 degrees. I mean, I guess maybe a little bit better than 90 if you move the bicep just a little bit. And then for his right side, pretty much the same. I think it actually goes up a little bit higher maybe than the left. Let's see. You keep pushing on it. Yeah, I guess for both sides it goes maybe just slightly better than 90. But yeah, so you can get at least a good T-pose. And then back down by his sides, of course. You can rotate. So you got a full windmill rotation in there. Right there, he does have a bicep swivel. Nice, smooth functioning bicep swivel. He's got double jointed elbows. So he is able to bend in pretty far. He does have these, plastic flame pieces that go around the arms. So it is going to kind of hinder the movement as far as getting closer to his bicep. But even with that, he's able to crunch in pretty far. And then he does have a glove swivel. So he's got glove swivel right there. All right, good swivel around the glove. He's got a hinge for the hands, horizontal, that lets his hand go in and out. And he also does have individual finger articulation, which I was not expecting. I thought at most, his hands would be sculpted or his fingers would be sculpted as one piece, but they are actually individually articulated. So you can move each finger with the exception of the thumb. The thumb is static, but yeah, I think that's pretty cool. That was a pleasant surprise. And then let's see, he does have a ab crunch that lets him crunch forward pretty decently. Pretty decent ab crunch. Move his arm out the way so you can see the range a little better. Nice ab crunch forward. Going backwards, not quite as good, but it does get you at least some range going back. You can bring that forward. He does have a swivel at the waist, so you can rotate to each side. Actually go 360 if you wanted to. And then let's see, for the legs, he is on the older style ball and hinge, kind of similar to the McFarlane Spider-Man. So even when the hinge is facing the outside, he's able to kick up straight like that. No problems there. So he's able to get a nice 90-degree kick going forward. And pretty decent going back. It is going to kind of go back at an angle, but you can still kick pretty far back. So that's pretty nice. And then splits out to the side. He gets pretty much a perfect splits because there's nothing hindering him on the sides. And then you have that hinge. So it really just allows for a nice swing of the legs out like that. So that looks pretty good. You can obviously adjust it a little bit if you want to get it really, really straight. But yeah, pretty much perfect splits. He does have a thigh swivel. So individual of the ball right here in the hip, he does have a thigh swivel below that, thigh cut. He's got double jointed knees, so he can bend his lower legs back pretty well. Like honestly, all the way pretty much up to his lower back. So that's nice. Coming back down, and then he does get a hinge in the foot, so he can hinge the foot down that much, which is pretty nice on the tippy toes. Can kick up with the foot that much, and then he does have toe articulation, so he's got a hinge at the front for the toes. And yeah, and just like the slightest bit of ankle rocker, not really, like barely enough to really call it, an ankle rocker, but it does swivel a little bit side to side, so there you go. That always helps. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all the articulation. And obviously with these kind of like hinged shoulders and legs, you can kind of manipulate the angles that he like moves his arms and legs at, so keep that in mind. But yeah, yeah, pretty nice articulation, man. More articulation than I was expecting, to be honest, so that was a pleasant surprise. But yeah, very welcomed for this figure. Yeah, you can see on the back here he does have these holes, and that is for the gimmick. So I'll show you the base that he comes with, which is this right here. I honestly thought this was going to be like really hard plastic when I saw it in the box and like when I saw it in videos, but it's actually kind of like somewhat squishy. Like it actually has like a bit of softness to it. So yeah, it's softer than it looks. But this is a pretty nicely detailed base. A lot of paint work that went into it for sure. So you got this swirly kind of fire effect that plugs into his back at this piece up top. So you can see right there, it's got like these two silver like little rods sticking out, and then in the middle there's like a yellow piece that sticks out as well, and that connects into those holes in his back. And then there is some holes down here for the voice box, to make the sound. So when you plug him in, I'll try to plug it into his back so you can see what he looks like on the stand. Let me do that off camera real quick. Let's see. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention also is that him being an older figure, he does kind of have like a weird smell to him. I think it's the nature of the plastic that they used back in the day, but he does kind of have like that weird plasticky smell, so just be aware of that. I kind of meant to mention that with Mr. Fantastic as well. Like all those bendy attachments and like that rubbery plastic, it does give off a kind of weird smell. So if your figure smells weird, that's why. I think it's just the nature of this older plastic that Toybiz used to use. But anyways, here he is on his base. All right, so he's propped up with the little fire effect behind him. So you can see right there, and it holds his weight pretty good. It's pretty stable. It doesn't like tip over or anything, so that's good. So it can support him on its own. And yeah, and there's like a very well hidden button on the back of this thing, or no, actually no, it's in the front. It's in the front. My bad. It's like right here, and it's really hard to see. Honestly, I had to like look at the back of the box to find out where the button was to activate the sound. But it's like right here in the center. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but there's like this tiny like little circular part right here going like in the middle of the swirl, and that's actually a button, believe it or not. You press that, hopefully you can hear that clicking sound, and that would activate the sound gimmick. I believe he speaks. I think he actually does say like flame on, and then like he lights up from like his chest. There's like a red light in there that would normally light him up. I wish I could show you guys, but like I said, I couldn't get into the battery compartment to put batteries in. But I will leave a link down below in the description for Cejaman's review of this guy. It's a really nice, really good review, from back in the day. He reviewed this guy, and he was able to use the the sound and light gimmick on it. So in case you guys want to see what that looks like, I'll have a link to his review in the description. So be sure to check that out. Shout out to Cejaman. He is a really dope reviewer. I've seen, a good amount of his reviews as well. He's one of those guys that I like to watch from time to time. So shout outs to him for killing the game. And I believe he's still making videos to this day. So that's what's up. from one collector to another. Respect, you know. But yeah, this looks really, really good. I really do like the fact that they use the translucent plastic pretty much for like all of him. And a nice thing about it is that you can even see hints of like his blue uniform. Oh, there he goes, falling off. All right, no more base. Let's put the base aside. But yeah, you can actually see some of his like blue uniform like underneath, at least in the torso. You can actually see the 4 logo like on his uniform, you know, buried under there. So I think that's pretty cool. And I noticed that he does have pretty thin lines for the 4 on his uniform, very similar to, you know, Jessica Alba, the Invisible Woman. So yeah, it's interesting that Reed had like the most, you know, thick lines for like his costume, whereas like, you know, Johnny and Sue have like very thin lines for their 4 for some reason. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out. But yeah, it's cool that you can see like the blue part of his costume underneath all the fire, at least like in the torso. So that's pretty cool. That's a nice touch from Toybiz. Gives him a little bit of realism. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, and then here's looking at him up close. I think they actually did a pretty good job with the sculpt. I think this does. It's probably like gonna be hard to see on camera, but when you have it in person and you're like really taking in the face sculpt, it really does have a resemblance to Chris Evans, how he looked in that movie. You know, this is a much younger Chris Evans, right? So, you know, long before he was Captain America. I mean, I guess not long before. What, Captain America, that first movie came out, what? Oh man, I want to say like 2012 or like around there, maybe before. So, you know, it wasn't too long after, but this definitely is like a younger look for Chris Evans. And yeah, I think they pretty much nailed the sculpt. Hopefully you can see that now. It's funny that they put like black dots. I think they're black. Let's see. Looking at them up close. Yeah, they seem to be black. But yeah, it's interesting that they use kind of like black dots for the eyes there. But you know, that definitely helps them stand out, give him some distinction from the rest of his face. But yeah, you can see the features are in there, man. They're sculpted. You can see his nose, his lips, his ears, even like some of his hair is actually sculpted in. It's not like just purely flame on the top of his head. You can actually, might not be able to see it well on camera, but yeah, hopefully right there you guys can see there's actually like little sculpted lines for like the hair. You can see like his hair actually going back across his head, so that's pretty cool. And the flame coming up top looks really, really nice. And yeah, it's a pretty nice sculpt, man. Especially for back in the day when they didn't have, you know, all this face screening, face printing technology. I think they did a really, really nice job, whoever sculpted this figure. So shout outs to the Toybiz team and whoever, you know, assembled this guy. He came out very, very nice. So I tell you, man, this is the kind of stuff that Toybiz could do back in the day. Super impressive stuff. You know, that Ares Build-A-Figure Wave Human Torch that I reviewed recently, I do really like that one a lot. You know, that's a Hasbro figure, and I do feel like that's one of Hasbro's best Human Torches. I think it's actually the best as far as like the comic look of all the Human Torches that they've done so far. I do really enjoy the look of that one. But yeah, I really like this one too, you know, and this one came out first, so yeah, all these like little flame pieces that go out around his body, they're pretty soft. Like they're kind of pointy, but they're not like enough to prick you or anything. Like they just have like a pointy sculpt, but they're actually like really soft plastic, so they're very pliable. So you don't have to worry about getting poked anywhere. But yeah, I really do like that they added that. It really does give him a nice effect. You know, adds to like the look of him. Because they could have just left all that off and just left him, you know, completely in this like orange translucent plastic, and that would look cool too. But you know, definitely having like these flames come off of him, I think definitely adds to his, you know, overall presence and aesthetic. And just makes him look, you know, cooler overall. Badass, man. So there's Johnny Storm, Mr. Human Torch. Yeah, I think we covered pretty much all the points of articulation, right? Showed you guys, yeah, waist swivel, all that. So that's pretty much it. That's all he really comes with is, you know, this base, and it is a nice base. I guess one thing that may not be so great is the fact that this flame effect, or like, the colors that they use for the base don't really match him. Like, you could tell he's in a pretty dark colored orange, and this base is in like a relatively like lighter orange and a yellow color, so it doesn't really look the best, I would say, like when you're displaying him with it. But I mean, it's all right. Yeah, I guess like if I had like one minor nitpick, I would have said that maybe Toybiz should have painted this in a little bit darker of a color so it would match him better. But I mean, even as is, it still looks really good, right? Sculpt is very solid. You even got like hints of black in there, like smoke or something going through the flames. So I think that looks, overall, it's a pretty nice thing. And then this actually does, this top piece that plugs into him does rotate a little bit side to side, so you can kind of adjust it a bit when you have him plugged in. If you want him like at an angle or something, you can do that. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, it looks like these were maybe separate pieces. I don't know. I don't think this rotates individually, but I guess these were probably two separate pieces that got molded together, because you can see there's clearly like a line right there, like it was separated at one point. So just something to note. But yeah, that's a pretty cool, one of the cooler, I would say, gimmicks that Toybiz has made. But yeah, I mean, the figure itself, really, really dope. Fire, pun intended. But yeah, man, I really like it. I don't know what else to say. He's really dope. The individual finger articulation I really was not expecting, so that is a very pleasant surprise to see on this guy. But matter of fact, I want to get him doing something right now. Let's see. Okay, yeah. All right, you ready, guys? Don't look, don't look, don't look. Are you looking? Don't look. Oh, got him. He got y'all. I told y'all don't look. If anything, I think I might have him actually displayed with this. I just thought that was so cool. Before I actually started the review, I noticed that this hand was like already in this position, and I didn't even put it like that purposely. But once I noticed it, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta, do something with that in the review. So there you go. But yeah, man, dope figures. So let's go ahead and get into size comparisons. And I believe this guy was in the first wave of the movie figures that came out, because based on videos I've watched, I believe this particular Flame One Human Torch, I believe, came out in the first wave. And something that made me see if I can get him to stand again. He is a little tricky to stand. I will mention that. I did have to like play around with his legs before I was able to find him in a good standing position. But eventually you should be able to get him balanced. He does have pretty big feet too, so that should help. No peg holes on the bottom or anything, but there is, let's see, is there writing on it? Yep. On his right foot, it says, bottom of the right foot, it says FF 2005, Marvel, made in China, Toybiz, WW, worldwide. So there you go. But yeah, what was I saying? Dang, I lost my train of thought. I forgot what I was talking about. Something about him. Dang, what was I about to say about this guy? I lost my train of thought that quick. Dang, low-key forgot, bro. Hopefully it comes back to me. But yeah, there is Mr. Torch. So let's go ahead and get him lined up with some other figures from different lines. See how he scales. So of course, first up we got our Jessica Alba Invisible Woman. Alright, so here he is side by side with his sis, Jessica Alba Sue Storm. Let's move this over just a bit. Okay, there we go. And let's bring in, of course, Mr. Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, his pal, leader of the group. Back this up. Alright, so here is that Mr. Fantastic that we looked at with the bendy attachments. You can see I've got the longer arms on him, you know, the pieces for his arms to extend. And that's probably like the most I'm gonna have displayed on him at one time, just because, you know, those leg extensions are just a pain in the butt, and you can't really balance at all once they're attached. So if anything, at most I'll probably have just his arms like that when I'm displaying him. But yeah, man, I do think they look really, really nice. It's nice to see the three of them, you know, all these movie figures together. And I think they do look very, very good together. Very nice representations of what we saw in that first film. All right, so moving these two aside, I'm gonna bring in the Hasbro Ares Build-A-Figure Wave Human Torch. This was the Walmart exclusive that we recently looked at. See, now you can see the two torches together. You got a comic torch and a movie torch. And I like the looks of both of these guys, man. I think they both look really good. There's definitely more translucent plastic on him. Like, he's almost entirely translucent plastic. Pretty, like, even the flames I think are mostly translucent. They might be like a little more opaque, but like less see-through than the rest of him. But yeah, he's pretty much entirely translucent. Whereas this guy, he's got translucent plastic in the face, the hands, I'd say like the feet, somewhat in the torso, but like a good majority of like his arms and legs are actually kind of like more painted, so they're not very see-through. But yeah, it's a nice, you know, distinction. Nice nice comparison to see like different styles for the Human Torch here. And I think they both look really good together. They scale pretty well. They're around the same height, honestly. I mean, he's taller, but that's just because the flame sticks off of his head higher. But like to the top of the head, I mean, yeah, I guess his head is actually a little bit higher than his, but they're pretty close in scale, so I think that definitely works out. If you want to interchange some comic and movie Johnnies, you can do that. All right, so here we go. Let's do two figures at a time. We got the G.I. Joe Android figure. I forget the exact name, but you know, the battle damage Android figure. And then we have a Fortnite, I believe it's McFarlane Toys actually, either McFarlane Toys or Jazzwares, that did this Dyer figure from Fortnite. And I got this giant hammer blocking Johnny, so I'll move him a little bit. But yeah, you can see how they scale. This guy is a pretty tall figure. He's probably closer to like 6.5 or 7-inch scale. So definitely a bit bigger, but yeah, you can see how they scale. All right, moving them out the way. We have the Jazzwares Ghost figure from Fortnite. So we got the Ghost, and we have, I believe this guy was Jazzwares too. This is the Cyclo figure from Fortnite. I know we haven't taken a look at him in a while. He was kind of hidden away with some other figures, you know, in a box. So I got a lot of those guys out now, so there you go. And yeah, you can see he's definitely the tallest, bigger scale for sure. He scales pretty nice with him, just a little bit shorter than Johnny. So there you have it. Move these guys. And for a Mafex comparison, we got him with the Mafex comic style Daredevil right here. All right, Mr. DD. And then we have a Bandai 5.5-inch scale Zeltrax right here. And yeah, I think the three of them look pretty good. Zeltrax isn't too much shorter. I think he fits in. And same thing with Daredevil. Daredevil is in pretty good scale with him as well. So yeah, I think that looks good. Let's move these guys out the way. Oops, knocked them over. Let's see, get you back up here, Mr. Storm. Let's see. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right. Let's pull in another figure that we haven't seen in a long time. We have the Toybiz Wesley Snipes Blade figure. I know we haven't seen this guy in a minute. And those of you that have been watching the channel for a while, you're probably like, dang, where's that Blade figure at? I got him, man. He's right here. He's right here. So we'll be seeing a lot more of him in the reviews. All right. But yeah, there he is with that. And then here he is with a Spider-Man 3 Hasbro Sandman figure. This is from like that later line that they did for Hasbro. I mean, for Spider-Man 3. That was like more in the 6-inch scale. Pretty, all right figures overall within that line. I think they were just trying to make it a little bit better than the first Spider-Man 3 figures that they put out, which were like in a much smaller, kind of like 4-inch scale. But yeah, so there you go. And I think they all scale pretty. I mean, Wesley Snipes is kind of short. I don't know how tall he is in real life. I don't know if he would be, this much shorter than Chris Evans, but I mean, that's how it looks, at least in figure form. So there is that. All right, moving these guys out the way. Let's get in with some Mattel Movie Masters figures. We've got the Man of Steel Superman and the Dark Knight. Yeah, the Dark Knight Movie Masters Batman on this side. Both by Mattel, so you can see those two, how they scale. They scale pretty well, yeah. Batman's not too much shorter than him. Same thing with Superman. Superman's like pretty on par with him as far as height. I think that works out. Johnny's just a little bit taller, so there you go. Moving them aside, we will do a Movie Masters Bane and a DC Universe All-Stars Classic New 52 style Batman right here. All right, so you can see those three. And yeah, I think they scale good. Batman, I think, is actually a little bit taller than Johnny here. He's definitely like a taller figure. And then Bane is around the same height. So there you have that. All right. Well, these guys, for an SH Figure Arts comparison, we have the green Mighty Morphin Ranger or Dragon Ranger. All right. And Lightning Collection, we have the Dino Thunder Yellow Kira Ford right here from the Lightning Collection. All right. I think that scale works out pretty well. SH Figure Arts, smaller scale, right? About 5.5 inches, so he definitely should be shorter than Johnny here. And he is. So there is that. Moving these out the way. Let's finish it up. We got the Toybiz Sentinel Build-A-Figure Wave Cyclops figure right here that we looked at. This pile of toys is getting big. All right, let's scoot my camera a little bit. Make sure we got some good focus. There you go. And then we have the wall sticking web Spider-Man right here. Move the camera just a bit. There you go. You can see those three. All right, everybody's in the shot. Good, good. And yeah, they all scale around the same height for all three, so that looks pretty nice. And to finish it off, we have the Hasbro Spider-Man Retro Card Black Cat right here. We have the McFarlane Toys Catwoman from the Batman movie. All right, the Zoe Kravitz Catwoman, and yeah, there you go. I think those two look pretty nice. She's obviously in a bigger scale, 7-inch scale, so she should be quite a bit taller than Johnny. Move them out the way. And the Toybiz Sinister 6 box set Green Goblin right here. And a Hasbro for Black Series. We have the, Kenobi Battle Damage Darth Vader right here. So there you go. And Vader is a bigger figure. I like that because Vader should be tall and imposing. So there you go. Green Goblin is pretty much the same scale as Johnny, maybe slightly taller. Cool. And finish it off. We have McFarlane Toys, Black Adam. I'm about to call bro Shazam. We have the Black Adam, the Rock figure right here. Wow, I actually got him to stand on his own. That's crazy. Oh, jinxed it. But yeah, I'll pick him back up in a sec. And then we have the Toybiz McFarlane Spider-Man on this side. So I'm gonna hold Black Adam, but you can see here, Black Adam, of course, a lot bigger. McFarlane's Spider-Man around the same height if you count the top of the flame on Johnny's head. So yeah, there you go. And last but not least, we have a 5.5-inch scale Bandai Kelzak Fury from Power Rangers Ninja Storm, and a Titanium Man from the Iron Man movie line from Hasbro. All right, so we have Titanium Man right here in his green armor. All right, so that's your size comparisons, and that's gonna be the end of this review. So hope you guys enjoyed it, man. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Be sure to check out all my other content. I've got like over 200 videos up now. In the days that I don't put up reviews, I usually upload, on the weekends. I'm pretty busy through the week, but I try to get reviews and videos up during the weekends. So, I've got a bunch of shorts up. Be sure to check out my shorts. I just uploaded some new ones for the Black Abba Warrior and the Abba Assassin from So Toys. Two of my favorite 6-scale figures. Those are really dope. Gonna be putting some more shorts up and things like that very, very soon. But yeah, much more content to come. Again, we'll be seeing the Thing figure from Toybiz based off the same movie. So that'll be my next review going up. And yeah, just thank you guys so much for watching, for subscribing, leaving comments. Don't be shy. Be sure to leave comments, for any figures that you guys want to see reviewed. And I'll definitely, do my best to see what they're about and try to get reviews up for you. But yeah, I appreciate all the engagement, all the interaction that you guys have been giving me. Really does mean a lot, man. And yeah, we got some big stuff, coming to the channel. So make sure you stick around, make sure you subscribe, turn that bell notification on so you can be notified every time I put up a new video. And yeah, that's about it. So thank you guys for watching. Excuse me, as I'm losing my voice. This has been your boy, BioSpider 3.0, keeping the action going for the Toybiz Flame One Human Torch from Fantastic Four. Appreciate you guys for watching. Have a blessed weekend. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Flame on.